laundry, and he washed his
last night.
He's a good man.
You know, it's so dry right now in gas outside. I went out to, I was driving those ramps outside the cabin, and dogs run out, and all of a sudden Sophie goes, "Row!" And I thought, uh-oh, crap, we got another rattlesnake in the yard. And I was thinking, there you are, you're standing in sandals and your underoos, out because it's dark, nobody can see me. And so I went back, got a flashlight, and that's out scraping, making sure, and I think she stepped on a stick or something. She was fine afterwards. I thought, that's all I need to get whacked on the ankle or something.
Y'all bound to seen the pictures of Darryl petting them and carrying them around and loving on them. Have you ever had a serious snake bite?
No. I mean, I catch rattlesnakes all the time, but I'm careful with it. I have no desire to be bitten. But I'm not afraid of them either. You know, it's like
They make my shoulder heavy.
When I had that one where I think Ed was there, and I said, picked up the watch and said, "Hey, do you want to hold that?" No.
They found an anaconda in the Amazon, so they, we see it, we're like, look, we're not real fond of it or whatever, and they pick it. By the time it's done, I'm holding the thing, got it by its head.
They came down to find. I got a 10-foot one up on my wall. The first trip I ever made down there, we caught it down there, skinned it out, and I salted it, rolled it up, and the guy cussed them. "What is that?" And next week he said, "Well, they're not endangered."
Did you go in the rainy season or the dry?
I've been both.
Yeah, we're going to rainy next time.
And well, the dry season can be pretty rainy too down there.
That's true. Yeah, man. It was dry.
We were floating in the treetops. I mean, like 30 foot up the treetops. But I finally realized one of the ways they navigated the rivers when you're up in the treetops. You know what it was?
What?
You look up. There are no trees over the thing.
Well, yeah.
I thought, duh.
That
makes sense.
Yeah, our anaconda was it was skinny and angry and hungry.
When they bite, those teeth curve backwards.
Oh, I know. It about got Jaime right there. Well, of course, in our view, it about got him.
All right, you'll find bunches of these. That's another St. John's wort as far as being a Hypericum. Pineapple weed. You crush that, it's got a citrus odor to it. You smell it? It smells like oranges or something. See if we find some more down here. Usually it's find big patches of it, but everything's so dry, they're drying up. No, that's not bitter weed. The name escapes me, but it's not bitter weed. The bitter weed is a small plant like that and real Nah, they're all in the same Asteraceae family, the Aster family, which they're not bitter weed.
I think y'all close to the same shoe size.
Oh, as you leave here today, when you get almost back and there's that like a little park-like area with a pond or something off to the left. Look around that area and you can see a whole bunch of cardinal flower lobelia blooming right now. Who's walking who?
The indigenous coyotes.
Maybe not. So
They're packing dogs. I was excited. How many minutes are we in?
I stopped after 30.
probably come down here and cut through, go the other road to go back. Have you used pine pollen for L-Delta acceleration?
No, but I've heard of it.
Okay.
Pollen, right?
The pollen.
Yeah.
If you look at the pine trees, not only high in vitamin C, shikimic acid, flu, the pollen is the source of L-Dopa for people with Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, etc. To boost dopamine level.
Is that like the velvet bee?
You're thinking Mucuna? or not Muripalama.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as strong. All right, there's your swamp white oak. See how big the acorns are? That's why you want to pick these to harvest for flour as opposed to the red oak acorns, which are like that big. Both work, but a lot less work to get a lot more meat out of that than that.
Are those edible without cooking them?
No. Well, yes, without cooking them, but they have to be leached. The problem you have is this. White oak acorns are considered sweet. That's a vague term. That just means they're not as high in tannic acid. So you don't get the bitter and the astringency as much as red oak acorns. Actually, the highest acorn with tannins in the world is actually a white oak from like Norway or Canada or somewhere. But generally speaking, red oaks are higher. But also red oak, the way the tannins are bound molecularly, your body perceives it as more bitter and astringent. But these, even the sweet ones that people say you can roast and eat, you eat enough of them, it's going to act as an anti-nutrient and bind minerals and vitamins in your body, and it'll constipate you, etc. But they're very easy to leach. The way you do these is you pick them. I'd leave these out to dry for a couple of days, because right now, solid. In a couple of days when they dry, you'll hear them rattling around a little bit, and the meat's pulling away from the shell, so they're easier shell. Then I used to take a pair of pruning clippers, just cut them in half, sit, watch TV, snip, 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 ow, snip, I got a nut sheller now that shells about 10 gallons an hour, and it's like a big corn sheller, and you just adjust it to fit the size of the nuts, and you just and cracks them. Then let them dry for another day or so, and then I grind them to the consistency of grape nuts. Take that, fill a 5-gallon bucket about a third of the way full, fill it full of cold water, give it a good stir, walk off, leave it. That evening come back, decant the water off carefully, fresh water, stir it, leave it for about a week. After about a week, that water will go from being that real, like a stomp in a mud puddle cloudy, to being dark and clear. I know that sounds contradictory, but it's not. It's just because you're getting now at that stage, what you're pulling out is a weak lye solution, but it'll be sort of but you can see through it. And at that point, after about 5 days and it's cleared off, you take a piece out, rinse it, taste it, and if it's not bitter or astringent, you're good to go. And then you just take it, put it in a muslin bag, clean stockings, rinse it under the water a little bit, and then just lay it out, dry it, and grind it. You're done. That's it.
And that was changing the water out twice?
Twice a day.
Twice a day.
If you want to do it, a fast rinse that I came up with is you take, after you've done the grape nut stage and you've ground it to that part, you can put like a big handful in, say, some knee-high stockings or a muslin bag, hold it under the sink water, running water, squeeze, 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 and in about 7-8 minutes, it'll do the same thing, enough to make a meal.
Okay.
But if you want to do a bunch, you do that method. But if you want to just make a meal, like I want to make muffins tonight, and I need like a cup or two of flour, just you'll see all the tannins coming out. But it takes that running water.
And this thing's a heavier flour that won't rise.
It will never rise by itself. That's why about 30% of your recipe with your regular rising flour, you can cheat with baking powder or sparkling water. But still, it's one of the heavier, thicker flours that you use. Yellow dock, you can cheat even further because they're not glutinous, but they're not as heavy. Pine pollen and cattail pollen just puffs right up, so it's no big deal at all. But I mean, you can. I get 2 sawtooth oaks, which are actually a red oak, but they make big acorns because they're from Korea, and I gather about 300 pounds of them a year, and they're about that big but more rounded. And just dry them, store them, and you're good to go.
Thank you.
And
Hey,
I'll,
Darryl, on that yucca up there, I got some cordage in the truck. That's what I was trying to say, but kiddo wants to.
Oh, okay,
So I
yeah.
got 40 foot of it I made, so kiddo wants to swim by the truck on that.
oh, listen, we've made bowstrings with them, and they are strong cordage. See, in the South, you typically made vegetable cordage bowstrings because it's so humid. if you did it out of deer hide, sinew, it'd go wet day, twang, boom, you know, and you had to heat them up first. Out west, they did a lot more sinew because it was drier. But we went on a javelina hunt with hickory bows and sinew strings, and we had to heat them up in the morning, even in the prickly pear forest, because it was cool and moist in the morning. So we'd heat them over smoky fire and go out and that, or you go out shoot the pig and it goes eat and straight down. You know what else makes a really good cordage, Johnny?
What's that?
You know all those big swamp mallows out on the river?
Yeah.
Great cordage.
Yeah, never mind.
And you get long, straight swamps too. Okra stems make good cordage.
Yeah, that's what
Mhm,
they
okra.
You're gonna use some. He's gonna bring some out there. I tried okra and it was good, and maybe they would get a good job. I didn't have that chance to long
If okra makes good cordage with roselle hibiscus,
Yes, any of the hibiscus makes cordage. It's just you want to get the taller, longer plants because your weak point in any piece of cordage is a splice,
okay.
and that's why you overlap and work the splices together. And so the longer the pieces of cordage you have, the fewer splices you have to deal with. Okay. There you go. Which is? Huh?
That's trust.
Nope. Pawpaw. Okay. And here's how you always tell pawpaws. Slowly. Crush it and smell it. What does it smell like out of your garden?
Bell peppers.
Bell pepper, like you were saying yesterday. Bell peppers. Do you smell those leaves? You crush them, they smell just like, crush them though, and they smell just like a bell pepper. One little easy identifier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we-
They do smell like it.
That's pretty good.
oh wow, perfectly like that. Something you want to get.
My rates are on hand drill with horseweed and pawpaw as fireboard. 8 seconds to cold.
Have you ever cooked with these, Darryl? I mean, they make a
No, they're insecticide. That's why I use it like natural
Yeah.
chemotherapy.
It smells like it would be good insecticide.
Oh, it really does.
You could burn these.
Yeah,
things.
the seeds themselves. That's why they were researched for cancer for so many years in AIDS. It was the seeds because of what else is chemotherapy?
Yeah, exactly.
Bug killer.
Well, how about a campfire for mosquitoes?
Yeah, probably be fine. I think what works really well for campfire for mosquitoes are dried cattail heads. The brown ones, they're hard to get lit, but once you light the end of it, I've smoldered one, timed it for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Right.
And you just stick them like torches all over,
Right.
and they'll smolder mosquitoes.
Those Amazon termite nests.
Oh, those are great.
That was right.
Those things, they'd smolder anything away. And
Yeah.
they don't really stink. They aren't bad.
Better than DEET.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think it works instantly with me. Well, that's what I'm saying. Too much awesome as a kid. Hose this down. We had a birthday party, so I started hosing that stuff down and get a shot of it.
I don't know how we survived that. We used to run behind you.
Yeah, the mosquito trucks.
We'd run play behind it, waiting that stuff in.
Yeah.
Someone else did that.
Yeah. People used to swim, this lady said used to swim in Snow Creek with her friends, and they would marvel at how it would be different colors at different times of the day. All of her friends died of cancer, and she had 5 different
How
types.
smart I'd be if I didn't do all that.
Oh,
All right. You see the tree here with the leaves coming off of it, turning red? One of the first trees in the late summer, early fall to turn red, and it is a? You sure?
Not now.
You're right. I'm messing with you, but yeah, that's a black gum tree. A lot of times when you ask people, say, yeah, what did you use black gum for, and this and that, and they'll say, well, yeah, I remember Granny used to use sweet gum for chewing toothbrush or all that. No, they use black gum, not sweet gum. They use sweet gum. There's a car coming.
Well, some of us kind of went from different sides.
Oh, with the left wing and the right wing over here.
Everybody got on bright shirts, stand in the road for us.
Well, Darryl, which bush is it or tree is it that you can make a whistle out of?
Oh, my dad used to
Is
do
it
that.
hickory? Yes, my dad did it, and he's no
That was like
longer
the most
here.
fun thing.
They use black gum, not sweet gum. Sweet gum you use the sap for chewing gum, but with black gum, if you stick a small twig in water, then pound it and fray it, it'll come out like a toothbrush, just like a. I know people that paint baskets and stuff with them, but it's so fine. And there's an unknown chemical in it that also whitens teeth. And if you didn't use it as a toothbrush, you use it as a snuff dipper. Then brush your teeth with it. And they use them for doing your red devil snuff. Also, it is another refrigerant herb. Use the fruit; it'll cool fevers down if you don't want to raise the sweat. All of the black gums, any in that family, any in the like Ogeechee limes down south, all of those will reduce fevers.
Unknown chemicals are my favorite.
Well, dogwood has the same thing. Dogwood will whiten teeth.
Dogwood.
Dogwood, that's the only two I know that. I mean, like, it's not like, it will. They both of those will whiten teeth.
We
It's
don't
sort of
know
like
why.
African chew sticks.
Right,
Whatever the chemical is,
but we don't know why.
don't know why. It just does.
We just have to figure that out.
Through here, there ain't nothing. Just grab a hot dog and do it.
Any oatmeal?
I think this is the way we went.
We've never been able to do a spot this thing down anywhere near conferences. It takes like that much for you.
So now the cameras think that mobs are coming through.
And here we have the Anglo-Saxon.
The Anglo-Saxon.
EMP hit.
They say they're camping.
And they're primitive environment.
Uh-huh.
In the box, they can shoot.
Well, I can't say a word.
This way's out on this one.
I didn't bring a compass.
Yeah, we'll just keep running. We'll hit the road if we go this way anyway. But I want you to notice something. See, all of the pine trees here